leave us a little bit earlier, so please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the organizers, Leo, and everyone who organized this conference. I see many people in the audience, and that's positive. I mean, it's positive and it's negative at the same time. It is sad that we still need, in the age of today, 2023, to have a conference on anti-Semitism. However, the fact that you're all here means that there is engagement. I will very briefly introduce myself. My name is Michael Freilich, and I'm a member of the Belgian Jewish community. I was the founder of the Belgian Jewish News, Joods Actueel, in 2007. And in 2019, I was elected as a member of the Belgian National Parlement. And I can tell you from my own experience what it is like to be part of a community that has to live under anti-Semitism. First of all, you have the physical protections of our buildings. I bring my son to school on most days, did so today as well. He's 6 years old. I drop him off, and the question always is, will it today be a safe day? We hope so. The doors of the school are reinforced, they're bomb-proof, the glass has been changed, there's cameras, there's security guards, and there's often police. That is the reality we have to live in today. But if we see and if we hear what's happening at the international stage, then unfortunately we realize that it is definitely still needed. I think that the Greek authorities, together with the Mossad, uncovered just this week a plot to attack Jewish and Israeli locations in Athens. The British Minister of Security, Mr. Tugendhat, a week or two ago came out with a warning about Iran paying criminal gangs to create lists of Jewish institutions and important Jewish people in order to be able to attack them if and when they so feel that it's needed. So that is the reality that we are dealing with today. You have the physical threat to the community, but then you also have the anti-Semitism that we read in the press, and I'm happy that the conference today is correctly named the various faces of anti-Semitism. Because even in the regular mainstream press, you will often find articles that are very stigmatizing to Jews. And a couple of the examples that I've brought forward to the members here, and they've actually asked questions to the European commissioners on this, is the mentioning of the name or the adjective Jew in articles that don't have anything to do with either the Jewish community or Israel. And the Belgian press, unfortunately, has shown its negative head in this case. I'll give you an example. There was the illegal employment of Ukrainians by a butcher in the city of Antwerp. And obviously there's people who employ people illegally, and this is something that the police has to deal with. But my question is, and my question was, why is it relevant and why is it important to say that the butcher who employed these people is Jewish? If he's Christian, if he's Muslim, if he's something else, atheists, would you have mentioned that? And the same thing with a story recently about a Jewish millionaire who was lucky enough to have a very successful business. He started from nothing after the Second World War. The guy's 90 years old and he sold his villa for a very nice amount. But the newspaper had to mention that he was Jewish. And that many years ago, we're talking about in the 80s, there was a court case against him, even though he won the court case and he was exonerated. So mentioning the adjective Jew next to the story, obviously, even though the journalists always say, oh, I'm not anti-Semitic. And it's very hard to know if that is true or not, because you can't read someone's thoughts. And it's, for me, irrelevant if the journalist is an anti-Semite or not, but they must realize, both the journalists and the newspapers who print those stories, that you will create and foster hate against Jewish people by writing every time there's a negative story, oh, it was a Jewish person who was involved with that. I mean, it's important that we call it out. And it is important also that if the national governments don't seem to take a stance strong enough, that our European friends can do so. The current Belgian government, I mean, my party is in opposition, but the current Belgian coalition government, which is a centre-left government, has a coalition agreement of 200 pages. However, unfortunately, the word antisemitism is not mentioned once. And when I asked them what was the reason for that, then they say, well, we see antisemitism as part of racism, so we fight all racism. But that is not good enough, because antisemitism is a very specific form of racism, and by not calling it out, you won't be able to fight it effectively. And yes, you need to fight other forms of bigotry and hatred, but anti-Semitism has a very specific background. Often you see it at different parts of the population. So by lumping everything together under the form racism, it is often a way that you and these type of organizations that get away with, let's not talk about anti-Semitism, let's just talk about racism in general. So that is something I think that's important to call out. Every form of racism, bigotry, and hate needs to be addressed individually, needs to be taken a necessary action, and I'm happy that the people here are leading this fight. I will also keep doing what I can, but the Jewish community in Belgium especially, Europe, is a small community. We need help. We need help from friends such as yourselves. The Christian community has always been out there helping us, other people as well, other faiths as well. Okay, also, I have lots of friends in the Muslim community who dare speak out about anti-Semitism within the Muslim world and say this is something that needs to be addressed. So my hope is that in the coming years we will see the situation getting better towards us, getting the Jewish community to be less in danger. It's not for tomorrow, it's a long fight, but I'm hopeful that eventually we will get there. Thank you for your time and thank you for the invitation.